Hey everyone, welcome to another online yoga with me. To get us started, let's find ourselves in a comfortable seated position. We want to be sitting on our mats. Does not have to be cross-legged. Any way that feels comfortable for you and your body. Make sure you've got everything that you need with you today. If you want a pillow or a blanket for our meditation at the end, if you need some water, whatever it is. When we are all ready and we found ourselves in our comfortable seated position, let's take this opportunity at the start of our class to close our eyes and focus on the breath. Focusing on the breath is the quickest, the easiest, and the most effective way to relax our bodies and our minds. This just helps with reducing stress and anxiety, but also promoting that well-being and peacefulness. That's really great in yoga. Take a brief opportunity and just notice how you are feeling as a whole. Notice any areas in your body which are starting to feel or have already been feeling a little bit stiff or sore. But now that you're here in this moment, just take a moment to acknowledge those feelings. We are going to be working to try and release and reduce the stress and tension within our bodies today. Also noticing how our breath is sitting. Just noticing your natural breath right now, where your breath is. Is it in the chest? Is it deep in the belly? Is it really quick? Is it nice and slow? If you are experiencing any short, shallow, or quick breathing, let's go back to encouraging our long, slow, and steady breath in and out through the nose. When we take in our inhale, nice, slow, long, and steady. Down to our belly. We want to feel our belly expanding with air as we inhale. And as we exhale, we want to draw our navel back in towards the spine. So really releasing that whole breath back out, fully exhaling back out through the nose. This is our Ujjayi breathing, which is also known as seashell breath, because if you're doing this breathing effectively, you should hear that drawing in and out like the tide beach. You want to feel really slow and steady breath, hearing that soft sound of your breathing. Let's inhale, drawing in relaxation as our intention for today's practice. And as we exhale, we're releasing ourselves of stress, negativity, self-judgment, and self-criticism. From this moment forward, we're letting go of all previous events that have led us up to where we are now. We're starting this practice fresh, from scratch. We're going to become way more relaxed, happy, and healthier after this practice. Feel free to keep your eyes closed. And just a reminder before we get started to listen to your body as you practice. Don't feel like you have to do everything exactly the way that I do it here. Feel free to modify as you go. But I also promise that I'll try out the modifications as best as I can. So as I said, feel free to keep your eyes closed. Start off with our gentle waking up movement. So rolling back the shoulders. As always, we're starting here. We hold so much stress and tension in the shoulders, particularly if we spend a lot of time seated, particularly at a desk. It encourages that negative posture that we don't want. So roll the shoulders back. Hopefully yours aren't making as much clicking noise as mine. And change the direction. Let's roll our shoulders forward. And coming back to stillness with our shoulders, let's draw this into the neck. Really big, slow circles, drawing with our nose. Taking our time. There's no rush. And back in the opposite direction now. And back to stillness once again. From here, we're going to come straight down to our tabletop. So wrists under the shoulders, knees under the hips. We're going to press back. So coming back into our child's pose, reaching and stretching forward, lengthening all the way from the shoulders down to our fingertips, drawing forehead towards the mat. Walking our hands over to one side so we can stretch to the side of the rib cage. And then we're going to walk our hands over to the other side, stretching to the other side of our rib cage. And walking our hands back into the middle. From here, shifting our weight forward, so back to our tabletop. From here, tuck the toes under, we're coming up to our downward dog. We're not going to stay here for long. We are going to take a quick opportunity though to paddle the feet, stretch out the backs of the legs. Remember to keep up that slow and steady breathing, there's no rush. And we're going to begin to walk our hands in towards our feet. So in our forward fold. Once again, I apologize for the angle of my camera. It is going to cut me off when I stand up, but I'll just keep explaining and you guys will get the gist. In our forward fold, want to keep our legs nice and straight, but if you need that slight bend, feel free to go for it. Going to hold on to the elbows, we're doing a little bit of rocking from side to side. This stretches out the backs of our legs, also relaxes our lower back. In our forward fold, we want to make sure that we're not looking at the ground. We want to be looking between our legs, so a natural progression of the spine. And release the elbows. Take an opportunity to spread the feet further apart, so in more of a wider stance, and angling our toes slightly outwards. We're going to tuck our fingers under the toes. Going to take an inhale here. And as we exhale, we're swinging our hips down, coming into our yogi squat. Here in our yogi squat, just keeping up a natural breath. We're going to be taking our stretch through either side. So stretching up and over on one side and take it straight through onto the other side. We're going to create a flow with these movements. So let's take an inhale here, hips back up. Exhale, rolling the spine up to our standing posture. I know you can't see me. From here, we're taking an inhale, sweeping our arms up to a high prayer. And exhale, we're coming forward. Tuck under the fingertips, take an inhale here. Exhale, hips down, natural breath and side stretch. Don't rush. We're going to inhale, hips up. Exhale, rolling the spine. A few more times. Inhale, arms together. Exhale, folding forwards, tapping fingertips. Inhale. Exhale, hips down and natural breath, side stretch. Going to keep doing this a couple more times. Just do it in your own timing. So I'm going to stop the narration after we finish this set. So inhale, hips up. Exhale, roll the spine nice and slow. Twice more in your own timing. And the next time you get up to standing, we're going to stay here. Take your time reaching this point. Once you're in your standing, we're going to do our standing side stretches before we come back down onto the mat. So this is where we hold onto the opposite ankle, step back, stretching over to the side. Take this over to the other side. And back to the middle. Let's exhale, roll the spine down, hands onto the mat. We're going to start walking our hands forward. So we're in our plank. From our plank position, we're going to slowly lower our bodies down onto the mat. Take an inhale here. Exhale, nice and slow, controlled, onto the mat. Release the toes. Hands in by our, I've kind of almost got the words for underarms, by your underarms or in by the chest. We're going to take an inhale here. Exhale, press coming up to our cobra, shoulders down, gaze slightly up. Want to make sure we're not looking like this. If you feel tension at all in the lower back or the shoulders and neck, come down onto the forearms, still looking up. You're going to still get this natural stretch, but without as much of the tension. Focusing on the slow and steady breaths here, really taking your time with the breaths, encouraging full, whole inhales and complete emptying exhales. All right, let's lower ourselves back down onto the mat from here, coming into our scorpion stretch. So I want to take it through each side twice. So just take your time. We want to bring our arm up about a 45-degree angle, coming over the back with opposite toes. So just take your time each side twice. When you've done that, just meet me back on the stomach. exhale, just wait one more moment. When we're done, meeting back down on the stomach. When you're ready, we are going to press our bodies up and back. Going to take a moment, really round the spine, create really rounded back, coming into our rounded child's pose. Focusing on the breath. And shift the leg forward in our tabletop. Starting off with our cat-cow stretches with the breath. So great for our spinal flexibility, great for middle to lower back pain, and really, really good aiding in our digestion. So let's take our inhale. We're going to be doing things a little bit differently today. So inhale, round the spine, chin to chest. Exhale, drop the belly, slightly looking up. Inhale, round the spine, chin into the chest. Exhale, lower the spine, looking up. You want to really roll the shoulders as we come into our curve. And roll the shoulders. Lower the belly. So each time we want to create a really exaggerated movement. So really round in the back. Roll the shoulders forward. Exhale, roll the shoulders back, lower the belly, look up. So take it through in your own timing. There is no rush. You can go as quick or slow as feels right for your body. Couple more times. Probably should have got changed out of a hood before I did this. And when we're ready, we're going to come back to our neutral spine. So in our neutral spine, we want to make sure we're engaging our abdominal muscles. So we've got a nice and straight spine. Like a table, we could genuinely put something on our back and balance it there. Got our toes straight out, pointed behind our feet. We haven't got toes pointing in towards each other. Here, we're going to come into our alternate leg arm extension. So the whole time, we want to keep the core nice and strong. We focus on our breath. So we are going to inhale. Exhale to extend out opposite. I'm going to step forward, opposite leg and arm. Inhale, elbow to knee. Exhale to extend. So keeping these movements up. Inhaling together. Exhale to extend. Take it through nice and slow. Couple more times. One more time. And we're staying here. If you want to challenge yourself, bend the knee, hand to the foot. Let's release. Bring the hand down. Take a moment to release through that wrist that's been down on the mat. And now we're going to take it through on the opposite side. So take an inhale and exhale. Opposite legs and arms, stepping forward. Inhale together. Exhale to extend. Take your time. There's no rush. Couple more times. One more time. And we're holding, don't hold your breath. If you want to challenge yourself, hands at the foot. Let's release down onto the mat. Take a moment, release through that wrist. When we're ready, we are going to be coming back down to our tabletop. We're going to tuck under our toes, come up to our downward dog. So here we're going to paddle our toes, stretching out the backs of your legs. Up into the tippy toes, bend your knees in towards the chest. Slow and steady breaths. Straightening the legs, heels towards the mat, coming down into our dolphin onto the forearms. Make sure you keep your head free so we're not resting our head on the mat or on the arms. Focusing on the breath. And back up onto the hands. From here, we're going to come into our three-legged dog, so kicking our foot back and up. We're then going to swing that foot forward in between the hands. So coming to here, we're going to drop our back knee, untap those toes. We're going to take a second, releasing our hands up off the mat. We're going to make sure we're keeping our joints nice and strong. So our ankle is stacked underneath our knee. Toes are facing forward. We're lunging our hips down towards the mat. Focusing on that slow and steady breath. We've got healthy joints in the back as well, so our toes are pointed directly back, not back in towards the body like that, straight back. So we're really focusing on stretching out our hips and groin here. Face is forward. Let's bring our hands down towards the mat. If this is enough of a stretch for you here, as soon as you bring those hands down, you start to feel a really intense stretch. Just stay here. If you want to make it even harder, let's bring our hands to the inside of the foot. And one step even harder, we're coming down onto the forearms. So when we come down onto the forearms, our knee stays exactly where it is. It's not dropping out towards the side of the body. It's still in towards the body like this. Focusing on the breath. If you cannot keep that knee in the body, it always drops out when you come down onto the forearms. We're just going to stay up here on the hands. And back up onto the hands. Now we're going to come into that stretch. So we're going to keep really strong through the shoulder joint. We're not dropping in, nice and strong. Encourage that knee away from the body, opening up through the side of the hips. Slow and steady breaths. Draw that knee back in towards the body. Let's come into our half split. Keep that heel grounded. Shift the hips back, straighten the leg, drawing chest towards the knee. And coming back forward, let's tuck under the toes at the back, lifting that leg up. We're going to kick our foot back. So we're in our plank. Staying here in our plank for just one moment. Shifting up to our downward dog. Back to our plank. Slowly lowering towards the mat. Taking our inhale here. And exhale to your cobra, whether it's a full extension, whether it's just a baby cobra onto the forearms. Listen to your body. Keep your shoulders down. Direct that gaze slightly up. Make sure our toes are pointing straight back. Slow and steady breaths. Deep breathing down into the stomach. And lowering back down, let's press our bodies up, round the back, rounded child's pose. And shifting the weight forward once again. Let's tuck under the toes, hips up to our downward dog. Starting off, let's paddle the feet. And onto the tippy toes, bend knees into the chest. From here, we're going to straighten the legs, heels towards the mat, coming into our dolphin once again. Slow and steady breath. And back up onto the hands, coming to our three-legged dog now on the opposite side of last time. And sweep that foot forward in between the hands. Hair's gone crazy. And drop that back leg. Untuck those toes. Starting here, we're going to release the hands up off the mat, making sure we've got our healthy joints. Ankles stacked directly under our knee. Hands up. Dropping our hips in towards the mat. So we're not up in a lunge, we are lowering hips down. Let's bring our hands down onto the mat. If this is enough of a stretch, stay here. If you want a little bit more, hands on the inside of the foot. If you want even more, we're coming down onto our forearms, but we're keeping our knee into the body. If you're doing this, come up onto the hands. We want to feel our leg pressed against our arm. And we're coming up, coming into our hip opening stretch, staying strong through our shoulder. And draw that knee back in towards the body. Let's come into our half split. Keep that heel grounded. Shift the hips back, straightening this front leg as best as you can. Drawing chest in towards the leg. Slow and steady breaths. And shifting the weight forward, let's tuck under our back toe so we can send that leg back. And shifting into our plank. Core nice and engaged, bum down. Press back, downward dog. And shift forward, plank once again. Let's slowly lower down onto the mat. Inhale here. Exhale, nice and controlled. Taking our inhale here. Exhale, extend up to cobra, your cobra. On the forearms, shoulders down if you need it. We really want to make sure we've got that distance between our ears and our shoulder blades. We don't want ears up here and shoulders up here by the ears. This creates tension. It's not good. Shoulders down. Let's lower our bodies back down, pressing up, coming to our rounded child's pose. Really nice rounded back. From here, we're lifting up, we're going to place our feet down on the mat, and we're going to roll our bodies up to a nice straight spine. When we come up to our standing, I'm going to step into the middle of our mats, create a really wide stance. I'm going to draw our hands into prayer at the heart. We're going to be taking through our low alternating lunges. Taking it nice and slow, we'll be opening up through our hips and our groin. So coming down as low as we can between our lunges, coming straight back up to the top in between. Slow and steady breaths. If you can, we're going to come down, seeing if you can keep it low. Take it to the other side. So this time we're not coming up, nice and low. Next time you come over to one side, we're going to stay here. If you can, dropping the hips onto the mat, so seated. If it's not comfortable, if you're having your foot on the mat, your heel in towards the bum, you can bring your foot down into a half butterfly. We're going to take through our side stretch, so hands are opposite ankle or foot. We're reaching over the top of the ears and stretching here. Slow and steady breaths. We're going to release, coming up, over to the other side. Resting here for a moment. Dropping hips, it does not have to be graceful. Keeping our heel in towards the body like this, or coming into our half butterfly, whatever feels more comfortable for you and your body. We're going to bring our hand to our opposite ankle or opposite foot. Once again, side stretching, so ear down towards the knee, over the top of your other ear. Slow and steady breathing. And releasing, coming up from here, coming into the middle. We want to come down onto the mat, bringing our feet into our butterfly. Swinging around so you can see me better. So in our butterfly, we want to draw our heels in towards the body, knees out to the side of the body. We want to keep a nice and straight spine. So neck, rib cage and hips all stacked on top of each other. Think of them as one solid unit. Going to take an inhale here. Exhale, keeping this strong unit. We're hinging from our hips. We're coming forward, increasing the stretch. We're going to draw our chin down towards the mat, not the forehead. Forehead encourages us to lose that singular unit. Focusing on our spinal flexibility as well as our hips, coming down towards the mat. Nice, slow and steady, deep breathing. And we're slowly lifting ourselves back up from here, feet together, knees together, come down onto the back. So starting here, just on the back, we're going to draw our knees in towards the body. And start off by massaging your lower back and hips. And drawing knees into the chest, let's encourage that separation between the knees. Knees back in together. Let's draw our legs out nice and long. Drawing our arms up above the head. We're stretching and lengthening all the way from our fingertips down to our toes. Arms out at shoulder height, drawing feet back down onto the mat for a deeper stretch. Feet and knees stacked on top of each other for our spinal twists. For something looser, for having our feet and knees further apart like this. Making sure our head is always going in the opposite direction to our knees. Just a couple more. When you're ready, come back to the center. Extend your legs out long on the mat and draw your arms down beside the body and close your eyes. We are now coming into our meditation, which is the final segment of our class together today. So here in Shavasana with our eyes closed, we are taking an opportunity to notice how we're feeling. Noticing mind, body, and breath. Noticing how we are feeling emotionally, mentally. Noticing how our bodies are feeling physically, any areas of stiffness or soreness. And noticing where our breath is now naturally resting. Hopefully you are encouraging that slow, deep, long and steady breath down into the belly. If not, let's encourage doing so. Slow and steady, deep inhale, feeling your belly rise with air. And exhale, draw the navel back into the spine, fully and completely empty that breath back out. Just going to make sure we are breathing in and out through the nose. Allow complete and full relaxation through the body. Relax your forehead, the space in between your eyebrows. You tend to hold so much tension here. Releasing your cheeks. Release all the little muscles around your lips and mouth and your jaw. Release your tongue from the roof of your mouth. Let it drop down. This is a really quick way to release the jaw. And release the shoulders. We want them both equally distanced away from the ears. And down to the hips, both equally as heavy, sinking deep into the mat. And lastly, release and relax the tension in your hands and feet. Let your hands and feet drop out to the sides, away from the body. Allow your body to become heavier and heavier. With each exhale, we're sinking deeper into our mats. And with every inhale, we're just drawing in more of this beautiful relaxation that we have cultivated today through this yogic practice. For the last remaining 5 minutes of this class, I'm going to leave you in silence as well as stillness just to enjoy this practice. Keep this focus on the breath. Keep this internalized attention and intention. And just enjoy this opportunity for relaxation and mindfulness. Let's slowly encourage some soft and gentle movement back into the body. Gently wriggling your fingers and toes. Slowly letting your head rock from side to side. When you're ready, take an inhale and draw your arms back over the top of your head on the mat. Allow yourself to stretch and lengthen all the way from your fingertips down to your toes. When you're ready, drawing hands into prayer at the heart. I honor and respect the place in you where the whole universe resides, a place of peace, light, and of love. When you are in that place, and I'm in that place, we are in the same place and we are one. Namaste, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me for another online practice. I really do hope that you have enjoyed this time to yourself, this time for your own health and well-being. I hope that you're all doing well, and regardless of where you are and what time you're watching this, I hope that you have a great rest of your day or a great sleep tonight, and stay well and look after yourselves. I'll see you all soon. Thank you so much.